Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris, and we are here. FM24 Season 2 kicking off. I decided not to come back at the end of Season 1 because it was such uh, a cluster of confusion, um, I will say. Yeah. I think I don't know. We won the title with so many games left to go, but it was kind of a game I didn't even think we would win the title because I figured Leeds would win their game and they didn't, and we'd drawn the week before, so we only needed, we needed them to drop a point, a couple of points, and we'd win the title if we won our game, and we would kind of in a little bit of bad form because we drew the one before that. I don't know. It was just so weird a circumstance, and with some recording issues anyway in the last video. I just wanted to get to the end of the season, start planning on what we were doing, and kind of, try and put things together. So I've done that. I've done that. I know we're back here with the start of season two. We're about to go into season two, and you can see that we had a decent amount of money, 21 million. I think it was actually 35 at the end of last season. I spent a bunch, and I put some in the budget here because I know we wanted wage budget probably more than transfer budget because we're really not shelling out for big targets in general. So I decided that that was the way it was going to be. We should have even more, but for some reason it's not putting, like, I've got 100% next transfer revenue, um, and that's just not coming up because we sold a player for a lot of money, a lot more than 13, and that's never entered the transfer budget. So I feel like we're losing that money for some reason, and I don't know why. And maybe we went from 12 to 55. So I'm sure the money went into the club, it just never hit the transfer budget. So maybe that's just what the board decided, or some bug in the game. I don't know. I've given up trying to figure out what is a bug and what is actually a design feature in FM. So I just play it the way it plays and where it lays at the end of the day. And this is where we are. So we still got 13 million. We still got about 50 to 60,000 in the wage budget, and we got 50 odd million in the bank to play with as we need. Now, the best thing is, um, we did increase the stadium, and that's kind of impressive to me. That is impressive. We're up to 20, nearly 28,000. We put, like, I don't know what would it be, in like nearly 6,000 seats or more than 6,000 on the stadium. Was it 21 something or 22 something? I can't remember, but whatever it was, we got a massive upgrade. It took about a month and a half, which, it was in the off season, so I think that makes sense. We kind of did it prior to, like, the last three, two games left, somewhere around there. Last couple of games in the league, and by the time we got through the planning permission and done, it was actually pretty quick and fairly cheap as well. I think it was like 9 million, somewhere around there. I've definitely had way less seats for way more money, so I'm very happy with kind of how that's come out. Apparently, our facilities got downgraded, but they'd only just been upgraded, so that we paid for an upgrade. Like, we paid for like three last season, I believe, in the training facilities, and we've just got, I think this is the third or fourth youth recruitment, maybe more. I don't know. Youth facilities are still lagging a little bit behind. We spent probably 15 million last season, at least upgrading all of those. And I don't know. We got the training facilities up and they went straight back down, and they shouldn't be this high. I don't know if we got a mega upgrade somewhere. I don't even know if that's possible. Like I say, what's a bug? What's a feature? I didn't even check going into this database if anything else had been changed. So maybe a bunch of extra stuff has. Holy hell! How do we? Okay, Did we have that many social media? Did we have that much estimated value? Is this just like, I'm sure we were a 3-star team, so the jump up to 3.5. I'm sure we were like under 100 million, right? And suddenly Premier League, and we've just got so much estimated value all of a sudden. Um, and the best thing for me is, apparently, even though we should be Category 2 because we are in real life, we've got a Category 1 Youth Academy in game, which got downgraded to Category 2 at the end of the first season, despite getting youth recruitment and youth facilities up. So I'm not really sure why the board, maybe that's hard coded now, to start at 1 and get downgraded at 2 rather than to start at 2. I'm really confused. But right now we've got a Category 2 Youth Academy as well. Yeah. Like I say, just a cluster of confusion about what's gone on, like in this database with the game, with the crashing, with the recording software, OBS stopping just randomly after 15 minutes of the last video. Um, I don't know. I'm just gonna play it as it lies. That's all I can do. That's all I can do. But yeah, we're in a decent place. Oh yeah, Belenenses, they even got relegated. They got relegated, I think, into the. Is this the fourth tier? I want to say. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, okay. I was so happy to have a club from Portugal and like start feeding in those Portuguese players to us. Like we decided to add that negotiate existing and you know add the yeah we're not gonna. Okay. Yeah. So I got a little confused. I thought that was just to negotiate with any one of them, and then I kind of forgot how the screen works. We were on Belenenses, so they kind of showed us Belenenses, and I'm laying down now because my head hurts from this thinking about all this. I'm not feeling very well. At the same time, I'm a little bit sick at the moment, so okay. Yeah, so we picked up an Aussie team. A Portuguese team got relegated at the end of last season. Oh, this is fun. Um, oh no, yeah. Newport got relegated into the National League, but it's okay because we still got a League Two team because Yeovil got promoted. Like, what is this scenario that's going on? Like, I don't understand it. Newport got relegated, and then the National League last season, Yeovil went and won it. So our two feeder clubs there switched positions. It's interesting, right? It really is interesting. We've negotiated some of these, like I say, to get Aussie and Portuguese players in. I'm not sure what kind of pull these clubs are going to have. I think MacArthur has um, a decent youth recruitment. Belenenses is not so much, and now they're in the fourth tier. I have no idea, but oh my god, just so much happening, so much happening. So like showing you the league table and like the last few games just wasn't really something I was focusing on. Yeah, so 28 points clear at the end of the day, which is a ridiculous number. 3 games lost all season, 5 draws, 38 wins, 132 goals for, and 45 goals against, which is tied second with Leeds, who came up automatically with us, and just 3 behind Norwich for the best defense in the entire league. So I'm very, very pleased with how we played and how everything went. I will say on the final day, going into the final day, Middlesbrough were third. They lost. All 4 other teams won and moved past them, including Norwich on goal difference. Thanks mainly, I would say, to that fantastic defense that they've had. So, yeah, Middlesbrough, a little bit hard done by on the final day, but they did lose like 2 or 3, I think, of their last 4 games. Yeah, they lost the final two and they drew. So like a real kind of poor end to the season, and then Norwich beat them to leapfrog them and knock them out of the playoffs. But Burnley finally come up with us and Leeds, so kind of a nice easy one. And then you can see, where's my mouse? I'm gonna need my mouse. Make things a little easier now I'm laying down. Yeah, City ran away with it. Wolverhampton and Crystal Palace going down, so that's really interesting there. I was offered Mark Gahey at a cup price, 46 million. And I think he has moved. I don't know where he's moved to. Eze is wanted by Leeds. That makes sense. Edouard to Wolves. That's an interesting one there. Mateta, Leeds on loan. Leeds, yeah, okay. For David Ozo as well. So, um, yeah, poor Palace. Palace getting ripped apart because of their relegation. And I just want to see Leeds. I want to see Leeds come in for everybody now. I think that would be hilarious for me. Um, Kunil Leeds. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised because I was offered Mark Gahey in a cut price deal, and he ended up going to Liverpool for 46. I think that's his release clause. So yeah, he was being offered out. He was with us on loan. We went up, they went down. It made sense. Did not have anywhere near that money, so he heads out to Liverpool. That makes sense. But yeah, Leeds, like I say, they came up with us. They, I think they put 3 bids on one of our players and 2 bids on another two. And I think the 3 bids were for Harry Darling. Annoyingly, the 2 bids were on Ben Cabango, so they were trying to get one or both of our centre backs. And then the third one was from Zanvipotnik, who again I feel was harsh because they had Joe Perot from us, who actually scored a lot of goals for them and helped them come up into the Premier League. So I kind of want to quickly look at who they might have brought in towards the tail end of last season. Dele Alli on a free. That's an interesting one. Totti was on loan there. Kyle Walker's Peters. Torat Sumida. Nicholas Paz. I mean, that could be their centre back they picked up then. Semedo right back. Walker Peters right back. Carroll. Okay, so Jamal Lewis at left back. They did spend on their defense, right? But 2 right backs, a left back, a centre back who I would probably think is more of a right back, and a left midfielder, and Totti, who is a centre back but was on loan, and they just they just paid the small price to get him in. So I'm very confused as to why they don't have like a big centre back signing here, since they spent so long on settling 2 of mine, and they don't have a striker, despite again trying to unsettle mine. So I'm a little confused. I'm more than a little confused. I'm very, very confused. But Joe Perot is their main striker. He hit 13 league goals for them last campaign and did okay. Did well enough to get them promoted at the end of the day. So, whatever works for them, works for them. They don't seem to have a goalkeeper. Okay. I was going to say, I was sure Meslier got a new deal. So, yeah, they're in for everybody, trying to unsettle everybody. We got some scouts coming in. I went a little bit nuts and assigned a bunch of players from Brazil, Argentina, and then the home nations, as well as a few handpicked sort of clubs elsewhere, just to try and get a bunch of 17 and 18-year-olds like Scout did to see if we can unearth some gems. And we did and we didn't. But that's all we've got coming in. So let's have a look then at our history. And I kind of want to go back to last season first and see the end of the year stuff. So, Jay Fulton we had bids of. We turned down a little bit more than this, but at the end of the season, Preston, 900 grand, good price. Burnley came in for Cooper. Couldn't get in my first team, and I knew I had some good youngsters at the club, and I knew I'm bringing in sort of bench to first team players for those two midfield spots, and he's more of an attacking midfield. I could play him out in the wing, but I've got some nice wing options right now. So kind of the odd man out. Probably should have got more money. I'm a little bit disappointed, but 2.1. I think there's a couple of clauses in there, so we'll see. But Ollie, decent enough. Andy Fisher for $1 million to Norwich. Happy with that. 1.6 for Kemar Roof. Scored a bunch of goals for us. If we look back here, um, well, it felt like he scored a bunch of goals. I guess he only scored that one goal for us. I thought he scored like three or four. That goal was the only goal of the game, so it won us 3 points, I guess. Maybe he didn't have the impact I thought he really did, but okay. Apparently he's transfer listed. Yeah, I love when FM buys players and then just doesn't use them. Kukurevich to Ron for 4.7. Vigoro to Hull 1.9. Pedersen, again, probably should have got more 1 million. In fact, the fans are on the board are unhappy that I didn't get more money for all these players. Jerry Yates 3.3 I thought was a good deal, and Josh Ginelli for 900 grand again. I'm told that's way below market value. I don't think it is. I was pretty happy to get those, and over the course of the season, spending some big money, we kind of balanced the books. So we had all these. Jacob Wright being the last guy in. So Melka did come in 1.9, rising to 2.3. One of the reasons I felt I could get rid of Ollie Cooper and kind of just start afresh with a little bit more Premier League potential, and yeah, just a slightly better fit for what I'm looking to do. Another Swedish midfielder, Pontus Darbo, comes in, and again, it's very similar to Cooper in how he plays and his kind of make up the roles he can play, except he actually is natural at centre mid. So a nice, interesting player there for just over $1 million. An annoying one in Maxime Dahl because he does not have a work permit and has got rejected both when we bought him and when we tried to get a work permit before sending him on loan to France. So he's out on loan. He doesn't have a work permit. He's got good potential. He's a good young centre back. Got him really cheaply. I hope that we get a chance to use him. But that did kind of send me into a spiral of bringing in more centre backs like Reese Williams. He's cheap. He's solid. He's happy to be an emergency backup. Kind of went after him, and then Bright R.A.M.B., someone I've used before, never worked out, but tons of potential, young, English passport. Like, I kind of have to bring people like that on board. We did get Jonathan Ash Jensen at a tiny, tiny price. I've sent him out on loan, so he can go play first team football. And then Daniel Ballard comes in for 19 million because we did have a gap in defence to fill, so we ended up bringing, four different centre backs in, one of which, you know, is pretty much just a backup. One doesn't have a work permit, so went out on loan, and one whose time will come in the future, so we needed that first team pedigree. And I thought Danny Ballard does that. He kind of did okay for Sunderland. He has all the attributes I want. He's 6'2", good jumping, reach, heading, work rate, team teamwork, solid pace, acceleration, physicals in general. He just kind of does what we need him to do, and I knew even for 20 mil, we could probably sell him for that or more over the next 2 or 3 years without worrying. So, kind of a big outlay when you consider everybody else that came in. Um, we kind of did try and fit a profile of very cheap, but the reason why is the departure of Harry Darling. He ends up at Ipswich for 31 million. This is the money that should have gone into our transfer budget, and I just haven't seen. I don't know where it should have gone, but yeah, it I don't know. We never got that 31 million. Whether it got overwritten with the changing to the next year, which I think it shouldn't have, because it was, I think that's June 23rd. Was it July 23rd? I can't remember. But that's kind of usually the date it rolls over into the next season. This would have been a few days after if it was June. Maybe we had that money, then we lost it. I don't know why we'd get less. Whatever it is, Harry Darling no longer a Swansea player. And I'm okay with that. I think him and Danny Ballard are probably, yeah, I was going to say probably very similar. And they really, really are. They really, really are. So I'm okay with it. 6'2", 13 stone, right footed. Very few differences between them. You know, Darling's more technical. Ballard's better in terms of mental. Um, they're just so close. They're just so close. The stuff that matters in technical: first touch heading, marking, passing, tackling, technique. Like most of those, you know, passing 1 point to Darling. Everything else either even or points in Ballard's favour. So I'm okay with the switch. I didn't need to make it. I didn't really want to make it. But Leeds unsettled Darling. He kind of wanted to talk to people. And I feel like we end up in a similar place. And I'm okay with that. Consistency, big matches. The Resolute's a better personality type. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. So we'll see how that works out. We'll kind of check in, I guess, on Harry Darling. Everything else out was a loan. Um, and then we got the 3.5 million deal for Semi Killishoy, who was here on loan, did really well. So, you know, no surprise there. We knew that was going to happen. And then Nicolo Tresoldi is a cheap striker who still has a ton of potential and who I think can probably have a good season for us. He scored some goals in the lower leagues. You know, he's not going to be the main guy here. He's kind of third, fourth choice, but he's got a little bit about him that I like. There's no real weaknesses. There's no real strengths. He's young, room to grow. Let's get him molded by our coaching staff and see kind of where he ends up. So that's it. That's the squad. I mean, broke even last year, down by about 1.5 million, and then almost 20 million in profit in terms of transfers this season. So yeah, I just think we're in a good place. Honestly, I think we're in a good place. So this is my squad. Got my two goalkeepers, Samuel Brolin, number one. Tomasz Kubik is the backup goalie. Then kind of switched things up. I kind of had to fight with Josh Key, but he is now a squad player. That means Sam Parker is going to be my starting right back in the Premier League. And a slight change here with Ben Cabango, Danny Ballard, and then Josh Timon as the left back. Solid little back four. I kind of like that. That gives us Josh Key with Reese Williams, Bright RMB, and Nathan Chaujon as a backup back four, which it's okay. It's solid. I don't think there's too many weaknesses for a second defense like that. You know, Kushek, Kubek, Key, Williams, RMB, Shoajon. Yeah, some promoted teams are going to back four that are that good. We've got a back four that's slightly better, and that's our second choice. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I need to figure out some details, but I'm okay. Um, Vidal and Wright, who sadly won't be a Swansea pairing in real life anytime soon. A little bit disappointed there, but hey, we get to see it in game, and Jacob Wright is the standout player in this team. Maybe he was right not to join us, if we're being honest. And then Ronald and Eom, who was being at one point was being scouted, and it looked like a bid was coming in, but it never did, from PSG. Mind blowing. I would have taken the money. I think he was worth 25 around there at that point. So probably would have taken that money. You know, he's. I was going to say he stayed. He had no choice. There was no bid that came in for him. Um, he's up to 30 grand a week. He's got a 4-year deal. He's worth almost 40 million. I'm good with that. I'm more than good with that. And then my backup midfield pairing, Franco drops to the bench, Pontus Dabo alongside him, and then I got Tapia on one wing and Bianchini on the other. And then the four strikers, like I said, we're going to go with Zan Vipotnik and Semi Kilshoy, and then Nicola Tresoldi and Liam Cullen as the backup. So I think that second 11, 3 2 stars. We got 3 2.5 stars. No, we got more. Sorry, we got 5 2.5 stars, and we got 3 3 stars. So that's okay. I mean, you know, League Two, League One, Championship. That's kind of what they're rated at. But I think, to be fair, I like Reese Williams is not a League Two player. He definitely is. Like he would do good in the Championship. So would Tapia. So would Tresoldi. I don't really think that they're being rated right at all. Um, but we will see over the course of the season. Results don't lie. The table doesn't lie. But that first team, I'm pretty happy with it in general. I think that midfield and attack is really a strength, and the defense isn't a weakness. I like the fact that first 11, we've got 3.5 stars as the kind of base potential, which is a decent Premier League player. Up to 4 star for a couple, a little bit better there. And then we got our big guys in Sammy, Jacob, and Sam Parker, of course. But there's also a lot of room to grow on the bench too. Josh Key is who he is, and Kubek is 31. He's definitely who he is. But everyone else has a lot of room to grow and develop, and this is a nice first team squad. The other thing I need to kind of do is run you through the youth, because I was very surprised to get the kind of players we got in. So I'm going to try and just show you very quickly, like Nathan Perry, solid, you know, probable backup in the future. Same with David Hughes, Joe Forbes. There's a lot of these 2.5 to 3, and I just signed the entire class. Um, to be honest, I just signed the entire class on youth contracts and give a few of them some bigger money when I took a little bit more of a look at it and figured out, you know, just how good some of these boys were. But Stuart Harris, very poor, but for right back, I mean, at 16, if he develops a little bit, he could be okay. The first one that's like really noteworthy is Kylan Ogilvy, who just looks fantastic. A lot of work left to do, but he's 15, 6'5", and already has amazing jumping reach. Like I love that. I just love that. I can't fault him. Stephen Baker, I think he was a 4.5 star. He's fallen off, but really solid mentals. Um, and decent. Looks like he could be a solid back line player as well. Whether that's right back or centre back, probably centre back, but probably because we've got Parker at right back. Otherwise, I would be tempted to maybe switch him out there because we've got a lot of young centre backs I like as well. Wilmot, not really up to much. Ashley Jones, not up to much. Thomas Knight's a really interesting one as well. Left winger, almost made it into the first team. I think if I would have sold Bianchini, I would have brought Knight up. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just gonna have to see how he gets on throughout the season. A lot of these youngsters as well, like we're kind of all over the place right now. They've been called up, they've been sent down. A couple of them have tried to get out on loan, but they're very young. Andy John, don't know why he's listed as a winger. That's weird to me. Why the accomplished roles are the ones that are highlighted sometimes. Um, yeah, another midfield options. Darren Roberts, another solid centre back. Who doesn't look that good, but apparently has potential. I think he was a 4 star that went to a 5 star, and we had the 4.5 that's gone to a 3.5, which was Stephen Baker. Yeah, Stephen Baker. So I'm still trying to figure out some of these players, and are they actually at these ratings or not? I think that's still going to change. Young left back, kind of what we need, but not really at a great level. And then we got three really good prospects again at the top here. So we got a young goalie who I think is probably going to be backup goalie of the future, maybe first team, depending on like exactly what this 4.5 star potential works out. That maybe it's 3.5. Maybe he's in line with Brolin. Maybe he's a little better. I don't know. But really, really good. High determination. Love a 20 determination. Lacks a little bit in other areas, sadly. And I think that's kind of going to be interesting to see how he plays. His distribution's not amazing. His one-on-ones are quite low, which is worrying sometimes. I play a high line, so he might have to work on that quite a lot. And his positioning's quite low as well. So I'm really not sure with him. Leon Owen, the star man of the class, who, yeah, like again, almost made the first team. It's just I just have enough numbers, and I want these guys to develop in the youth team a little bit first. So let's not rush them into the first team. But I think if I sold Franco, for example, might be the best way. Capitalize on his money and then bring Leon Owen in. I think he is a fantastic prospect. 6'1", good heading, not a lot of jumping reach, not a lot of strength. I think those might be where he's lacking the most that I want to kind of improve him because he is very defensively sound, but not a great first touch, not great jumping reach, not good strength. Um, and he definitely is more defensive minded because he's got really poor off the ball, crossing, dribbling, etc. So he's not really too forward thinking. He's a little bit of everything in midfield, which I like since we play that central midfield on support, which he kind of lines up okay at. But yeah, I think he might be more the ball winner in that midfield, which is good because we've got a lot of creative kind of players in there. And then Abubakar Yaboa, a young striker who's got some highlighted skills and some glaring weaknesses again. A very mixed bag, but high potential players. If we believe the potentials, which I don't fully believe. Like, how can he be a League One player, but some of those we've been shown be League Two, that look far better than him. So I'm not really sure, but he's a model citizen. He's got potential. He's got a little bit of pace, determination, work rate. Um, kind of solid, but also very much a blank canvas. Very much a blank canvas. So an amazing youth intake in terms that I think probably Leon and Ogilvy, they were the two that almost made it into the first team, um, really. And then Knight, Yaboa, and Yalgan, I think, have a clear path into that first team squad. So probably 5 players from this club, the first intake, are going to be at least bench players. And then there's a lot of other ones like Cole, Baker, David Hughes, I guess, maybe 3. Without going back into them and really looking at them, there's 3 that I would say then have an outside shot at it, and a bunch of others will be just youth players. So, yeah, great youth intake. New scouts, I don't even know what we're up to. Let's take a quick look. It'll be 14. It'll be 14 scouts. So I'm pretty happy there with where we sit at the moment. We're the best coaching team in the championship. We're kind of good in the Premier League. Not too bad. We're above average in terms of scouting, but those 3 guys will really hopefully boost us. Where do we actually sit right now? 5th, 7th. So 4th, 1st, 2nd. So 15. So fitness, like that would be my next coach. Would be a really good fitness coach. 6th, 10th for goalkeeper distribution. 4th and 5th, the other 2 goalies. So yeah, if we could get a fitness coach, goalie coach, I think those would be the 2 coaches I'd want to bring in. We do have a new set piece coach. We're slightly upgraded here. Lars Knudsen coming in. Not too many other changes, I don't think. And we are 4th in terms of medical staff. So not too bad. You know, we are where we're at, and still a lot of work to be done on that side, but I think slight improvements there. Finances are good. Stadiums increased. Facilities are increased. Need to get that youth academy back up to a grade 1. A great youth intake in year 1 kind of gives us time to play with that and to get some of the other facilities up to speed. And we've got a very good, very young team. So we do open up with a trip to Ipswich, which is very interesting for me, having Harry Darling right there. Not quite as crazy, but almost as crazy is seeing Paul Pogba there. Um, should be a very, very interesting game. I will say that. Very, very interesting. So, yeah, they survived. They did okay. They spent some money. Got a big marquee free transfer. And they spent 31 million to take our centre back, and we got them first game. Yeah, September's going to be rough. Yeah, Liverpool at home, and then away trips to Arsenal and Man City. We got Chelsea and Man United back to back here, coming after Everton and Tottenham. Who knows what they're going to be like? So yeah, it's interesting. It's very spaced out. I don't think we'll go on too many bad runs. I don't think we'll go on too many good runs. Um, have no idea what this season's going to look like. I kind of had an idea how I thought last season was going in the championship, and it didn't. We did a lot better, but I could understand how that could happen. I'm not sure what this team is right now. I'm not sure how good we are. I'm not sure, are Ronald and Eom really players that should be scouted by the likes of Man City, Chelsea, and PSG that were looking at them? Is Vapotnik really a Premier League striker to the point where some of those bigger teams like Newcastle and Villa that were scouting him, are they looking to get them? Or are they all kind of Leeds players in disguise because Leeds were after all of those, plus Cabango and Darling, who ended up leaving us? So I don't know. I do like that Josh Key and Gonzalo Franco have been pushed to the bench. Not because I dislike those players, I like them a lot, and I think they were good players for us. But I like that already we're kind of improving in certain spots to move first team players out. So not selling first team and buying better, but still keeping the extra depth that those players will allow us to have. I like that we haven't spent a lot of money. If I look throughout this team, it's 1 million on Brolin. 90 million on Ballard is the outlier, and it's to replace a 31 million sale. So we're still over 10, 11 million in profit on that transaction for pretty much the same player in a lot of ways, in my mind. Vidal, 2.3. Wright, 4.2, I think, in total. Killershoy, 4 million in total. Kubchak was free. Reese Williams was less than 150, I think. Uh, RMB, 3.5. Dabo, 1.1. Trisoldi, 6.25, I think. There's not been a ton of money invested, but we've got good depth, we've got good prospects, we've got good youngsters, we've got a youth intake that now actually makes this feel like an interesting team. We've got a couple of solid goalie prospects. They could be about our number one and two of the future right there. We've got a good young right back, but then we've got a lot of these, you know, Roberts, Ogilvie, Dahl. We've got three really good centre back prospects right here in the reserves. Baker could be okay. Ferguson could still be okay. Um, Dan Cole could be a backup, a 3-star there at left back. Ben as well could be another backup at left back. We've got so many midfield prospects between, you know, Alfie's kind of slipped off a bit. I understand that, but Cotterill's holding on, which is nuts. And he's possibly going to come into the first team in the future. You've got Asbjornsen, who I never thought we'd even get. We've got Ben Lloyd, who's still looking like a great prospect for us, and then the new superstar in Leon Owen. Thomas Knight out on that right flank. Sean Wilmot as a backup right winger. We've still got Woodward and Congreve, who also look good. Josh Thomas could be a rotational striker, could be a Cullen replacement, who knows. Palacio, who's probably going to go out on loan. I think that would be good for us. But yeah, tons of potential, and Jaboa as well. We actually have an under 18s team. There's only 3 players. None of them are amazing, but we're actually now starting to get back to that point. So, very happy where we are. And this is opening day. I think I need to actually pick my team. I'm going to go for my strongest 11s, where I feel my strongest 11s actually looks like. And then let's go Josh Key, Jean, and Williams to cover the defense. Let's go Franco, Dabo, and Tapia. And let's go. I'm sorry, Bianchini, but I kind of want Cullen and Trasoldi just in case. Now, these ESC, I think they're elite sporting contribution places. I think that might be what it is. Um, I know the Brawling was well over his. I want to say Tapia was like a 42%, and he needs to be a 50% or above. I think similar for my young Colombian striker, but him going out on loan kind of negates that. And then Semi Killashoi actually, when he joined permanently, didn't need a player such as Soldy's got our fourth. So again, I'm not sure whether I want to start Tapia more. He's had a few injuries. He might be injury prone. I don't know. But right now, I think we would do that. We'll just go with our best team away to Ipswich to open up the season. Brolin, Timon, Ballard, Cabango, and Parker. Wright and Waddell. Eom and Ronald, Semi, and Zan Vipotnik up top. I think that's okay. We're a little bit less intensive than we used to be. It's down a little notch again. Little tweaks here and there as the year goes on. We will see kind of how things go. And it's our first game back in the Premier League. And Harry Darling, of course, does start, as does Paul Pogba. Sorry. And I'm a little bit confused because they got George Hurst up front, and I wasn't expecting George Hurst. I was expecting the Lap, who just doesn't seem to be there. So interesting. Interesting. One fan wants to see Ballard impress, and the other doesn't really care as long as we've got Cabango in play. So let's see kind of how this goes. I want to be impressed. I mean, at this point, the only person to try and motivate is Melka, because everyone else just kind of is pleased or motivated at the end of the day. Danny Ballard, we kind of missed his chance. Oh, new graphics, Premier League graphics. So yeah, okay. Omari Hutchison on one flank, Irving Lozano on the other, Pogba in behind them, and George Hurst up top. This could be a long day, you know. This could be a long day. It could be a long season. Um, but I like our players. I don't know if I like our chances, but I like our players. I like our tactics. And I just want to see what we can do this season. So I also think it does look a little far away, right? Should I like zoom in a ton more so we can actually see a bit more? I'm not sure. I like the sideline look, but I just like getting those zooms right is a little tricky for me at times. So let's try that. Got a little throw in on the left. Lozano cuts inside and big boy Brolin, Sammy Brolin, tipping it wide. 6'8", I think he is 6'8". 6'8" Swedish goalkeeper gets rid of that. Corner in, and he comes and claims it. Big man gets that ball. 6 minutes in, they've had a throw in. This is their second corner, and Brolin just punches it. Here comes Vapotnik. He can run at the defense. He's got a man outside him. If he wants him, now he's gone outside himself. Finds Melka, who gives the ball away, but right. Ooh, and Walton just tips it over. When it falls to right to those areas, I get a little excited because he is the quality in this team. Let's not forget that. Josh Timon to Cabango. Captain Cabango. Big Bad Ben just loops that one over, and at least we're in the game. At least we're in it. We're not getting blown out yet. We're kind of in it. And that's why you don't talk. That's why you don't talk. Hutchison to Wolfenden, and that is it's a 15-minute opener from the corners. Two men on him. Vapotnik can't quite get up. Who is the other? I think I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, not the best. I'm going to go down to positive, try and see if we can get the team going a little bit, and then 10 minutes till half time, a little bit of a shout at the boys, try and get something going. Because right now, like, brawling's been good, and then there's just a lot of meh. Oh, Semi goes down. Parker put that ball in. Wolfenton, the goal scorer, kind of challenges Semi. It is a penalty, and I don't know who takes this. Is Vapotnik? Yeah, it is Vapotnik. And he puts it top bins. Love that. Strokes it in. And after a pretty one-sided, but like not dominating performance in the first half, where Ipswich kind of were on top, but just never really made us pay, they find a way just to give us that route back in the game. And all of a sudden, you look at the halftime stats: 49% possession, 89% passing, 5 corners apiece. We got a better XG, same amount of shots, less on target. So we're a little bit wasteful. They're kind of kicking us. That's just not how the game's gone. That's just not how the game's gone. I will kind of take it and see, no, this is very difficult. Now, what do I say? I kind of just want to say I'm not happy because I'm not happy. And luckily, they take it in the way it's intended. Omari Hutchinson again, Pogba to Hutchinson, Smodrick to Hurst. That's like if Smodrick isn't offside, then Hurst 1,000,000% is. So I don't really worry about that. Demand more from the boys. It's like here, yeah, even like I said, even there, I thought he was offside, but that one would have 100% been anyway. So let's go to attacking. I mean, let's see if that does anything for us. Harry Darling over Potnik to Semi. Bad ball there for Eon. Very, very bad ball. And now that's just lumped up to Hurst. Waddell can get there. Nice little turn. But he had nowhere to go with it. Parker back to Cabango. We kind of need to get this out to the left flank. Come on. Don't ignore your left back. Timon's standing out there. He's doing his job. Potnik has to drop really deep. And then we give the ball away again. We give the ball away because we're just not able to use our full width. Right to Ronald. Let's go. They're backing off Ronald for some reason, and just Jacob Wright is able just to step up, and suddenly we're leading. And I don't feel like that was a good move. I don't think we executed particularly well, but we get a goal. And the confusion with this save continues. Double deflection. But even without that, I think it's a goal. And yeah, okay. I mean, it is what it is, right? Danny Barley gets booked in his debut. 6.4 in a booking on your debut. Like, that's not what I want. I'm going to slide Ben Cabango over. I'm going to put Reese Williams in there, and I'm gonna try and play with more width. Is there any other subs I kind of want to make? Not really. I think we're just gonna make that one sub. I don't like having a player that's playing poorly and has been booked. There we go. Ronald again. Try to find right. Pogba with a terrible pass. Comes back to Eom. And Matty Wolfenden, oh my god, sorry, Matty Wolfenden, Luke Wolfenden, he gets the opening goal, he gives away the penalty, and gets booked for it. And Pogba, like, terrible. Time on to Eom, and he just lingers his leg out there, just enough, and suddenly this is now our game to control for the final 10 minutes and just not let them back in, basically. So, Eom's not playing great, he can come off. Semi's not playing great, I'm going to give Tresoldi his debut. And what that does is gets my two ESC players that weren't playing, gets them on the pitch. I kind of want to, yeah, I'm gonna do Darbo for Dell, get him his debut. And I kind of want to take Sam Parker off, but I kind of want to put Showajon on. So I'm just gonna put Josh Key on. Um, yeah, why not? Right? That makes sense. That makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. We're 3-1 up, controlling the game, down to positive, new subs, fresh legs, no stupid changes. And we got a little something something here. Darbo. Nice, nice. Williams' first outing in a Swansea shirt. Back to Darbo. Back to Williams. Down for Ronald. Josh Key. Fresh legs. He can do something maybe. That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. That's lazy play from almost everyone. It's good pressure from them, but like they don't deserve that goal. Like they do not deserve that goal because they didn't work for it. A little bit of pressure, and we just sloppy passing. 7 minutes of injury time, having to go back on the attack and just like push them back because they were going to come at us, and we steal a win that I don't fully think we deserve. Thank you, Wolfenden, for your contributions to the campaign. But yeah, that's a good 3 points. That's a good 3 points. Right there, okay. Ronald, Vipotnik, I mean, they were all amongst the goals and whatnot today. Brolin kept us in it. Vidal's a decent debut. Apart from that, there's not much to shout about. Not at our best. Got the result done. Well done. Move on. Let's go. 3 points in the league, and I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah, we'll be seventh at worst after the first game. I'll 100% take that. Looks like Leeds got smashed 3-0. Joe Perot own goal. So, yeah, okay. Own goal in our game for us. And one of our former players own goal with another promoted team there. Is that Timothy Weir? Oh my god. Okay. Interesting. I like George Weir, so the fact that his son's now in the Premier League in this game is quite fun for me. And Jack Grealish, 2, Raheem Sterling. Fucking hell. I can't even speak these days. Yeah. I'm still very puzzled by this game. Someone tell me what happened. How we won that and got up to 3-1 when we just didn't seem to do anything well today. At all. Like, Potnick's penalty was very well taken, like up in the top corner. Keeper had no chance. But our passing didn't seem good, our dribbling didn't seem good, the vision was lacking. Like, our defense kept a good line, I guess, and Brolin came out and caught a lot of crosses into the box and some corners. He went out and claimed, 6'8", got up there, made a big presence. like that's kind of it, right? That like there's very little for us to write home about, but we somehow come away with a win, and I just don't know what I watched.